No, now we're
Goldfish boys.
now we're good. All right, introducing our first ever guest of Goldfish Boys, Albert James Otto.
Albert.
Sheesh.
Look at that shirt. Look at that shirt. Nothing like a man in some tie dye. Oh.
Whoa. It's a little dangerous here on the pod, right?
Oh no.
We just started that pod and
We're already funny.
That was AJ's best Anora impression.
Joke's on you. I didn't watch it.
Give me that goldfish, Sam.
All right, Elijah, you want to talk about how we got the name here? How we started?
So originally, me and Seth, we wanted to go through some important films. So I only see the new movies, and Seth only sees the old movies.
Yes, sir.
Kind of. And so Seth wanted to show me some important films, and so we started watching movies together. And our first series is Pacino and De Niro. So we started watching like some of their movies, and then Sam joined after Mean Streets.
Yeah, after.
Way after Mean Streets.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Mean Streets.
You skip Mean Streets and join us on the pod, Sam? How dare you?
How dare you? And then one day we were just like, we should have some goldfish. Started chowing down, and then one day I was like, hey, you know what we should name the group chat Goldfish Boys. And that's how this started.
The rest is history.
The rest is history.
All right, so the last movie that we watched was Taxi Driver, which is what we're hitting today. Sam, what did you think of it to start off?
I was so confused for like the first 3/4 of the movie. Honestly, it's one of my favorite films now.
Is it actually?
Yes, it's probably like on my top 5 now.
For real?
Yeah.
Actually,
Wait, what's the rest in your top 5?
The Django Unchained.
The Django. You can't be saying that on the pod. You can't be like, my favorite movie's The Django Unchained.
Listen, this is current. This isn't all time. All right.
No, I'm saying how you're saying Django Unchained.
Oh.
Come on, Sam.
oh, I thought you meant because of the content.
No.
Oh,
no,
I thought you meant because it was the main character.
No.
I thought you meant because of something that happened in that movie.
All right, we'll forgive that. Go ahead.
What are we talking about?
All right. What are we talking about? some good content for the people here. What are we talking about?
Sam's on top of the game.
All right, Elijah, that was how many Scorsese films have you seen?
That was my 4th one, I believe. So
Right.
Wolves,
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street, Killers, maybe my 3rd.
Your 3rd, right? You haven't seen anything else. Wolf, Killers, and that's it.
No
that's it.
Goodfellas?
Oh, Mean Streets.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
Mean
you
Streets. And then
we went through Mean Streets
yeah.
together.
Oh yeah, Mean Streets.
Sheesh.
Mean Streets. Okay, so that was my 4th one, and right now I just actually redid my ranking list, and I think I have it 3rd
You have a 3rd.
on Scorsese, which I know is like.
Well,
I
you've
don't
also only seen.
know. I've only seen 4 for sure, but I think that Killers. I guess I think.
Wait, you like Killers more than Taxi?
Oh yeah.
Get off the pod right now. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's crazy.
I think it was good. I think it was. I enjoyed it more. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And also, you saw it in the theater.
I just seen it in theater, and that makes a
just came
difference. It was way more grand, but I loved Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Can I give my thoughts?
Sure, yeah, we're hitting general thoughts right
Okay,
here.
so the first first like 20-30 minutes of the movie where he's just driving around in the taxi.
Yeah.
And the voiceovers. If it was like 2 hours of that, I guess I'd be swooning.
Yeah,
also,
that's what I'm saying.
the score, oh my gosh,
Bourbon.
probably the best score behind. Like I was telling the guys this Interstellar. Other than Interstellar, I think that was my favorite score.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if we want to get into like the interpretations with the.
I think we should save that.
Okay, sounds
Because
good. Yeah.
So me and AG, we're the only ones that seen it. How many times have you seen it?
3 times.
3 times? That was your 3rd time?
That was my 3rd watch. Yeah.
What the heck? So what is your relationship with it?
I actually don't remember the first time I watched it.
Really?
It was like when I was going down like the letterbox like rabbit hole.
Oh, like the top
and I
250
think
or whatever?
yeah, and I think you told me I should watch Taxi Driver because I enjoyed Goodfellas.
Oh, okay.
And I just like watched Taxi Driver like alone in my room, and I think I like shed tears. It was
Did you actually?
I don't know. If
He's just baiting for the pod. It's just clickbait. Like we're gonna isolate that clip. Like I shed tears the first time I watched Taxi Driver. Unironically, I'm gonna go make sure we're recording.
then the second time it was weird because I was watching with my dad, and that's not really like
one of
The
the
Taxi Driver with your dad?
Yeah, my dad's a big cinephile. So
Okay.
I feel like that's the best movie to watch with your
Kirk
dad.
loves
Dude, we
Taxi
need to get
Driver.
Kirk on the pod. We need Kirk on the pod for sure.
I could okay. Sorry to side note, but unironically, I could see Kirk as a taxi driver. Could you?
He did like an ASVAB thing in high school, and he got truck driver as like his number
Really?
one job. Yeah. So
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
minus the deranged delusions.
Yeah.
That.
I can see him chopping it up with like his guest while he's driving.
Well, for quite a bit,
For sure.
for quite a while there, he was a Lyft driver. So I mean,
Yeah.
a modern day taxi.
Yeah.
They complained about the cigar smoke though, so he stopped.
Who would complain about that?
And so Taxi Driver is like in your top 4?
It's not my top 4
Top
anymore.
five?
It wasn't my top 4 for a bit, but then Orpheus took over.
So what is the top 5 right now?
Top 4 right now is 12 Angry Men, Orpheus, The Prestige, and then The Boy and the Heron,
Boy and the Heron. Okay.
which is a new development that's like
That was just recent, right?
Yeah, that came out last year?
Boy and the Heron?
Boy
That's
and the Heron.
23.
23.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
at the end of 23, I believe.
Yeah.
AJ, why? Okay, so I get it. Like Taxi Driver was a good movie. I liked it a lot. I'm surprised that it's in your top 4.
Well, why are you
Break it
surprised about
down.
that?
I don't know. I just I thought it was super good.
Is it because of AJ himself, his taste, or just
No.
like anyone's top 4?
I know it's like a really widely renowned good movie.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just surprised that it's in a top 4.
Yeah, sure.
A top 4 or his top 4?
A top 4. And I would like to hear why it's in yours.
So part of the reason is the first and second time I watched it, we were in jazz band, and so like the score.
No way.
Well, like not in jazz, but that was in high school when we were like taking jazz. So I was like developing my appreciation, and the score just like captivated me. And the second reason is because I loved like the atmospheric vibe it gave to it, because I never really watched much like that. Like I'm a big fan of film noir, and so all I had seen prior to that point was like black and white, like 50s films that were like centered around that. But I hadn't seen like a modern version of like film noir. And that just like absolutely captivated me. Plus De Niro's like a great actor. And
What is film noir?
It's
We're clipping that one for sure.
noir is the French word for black. So it's kind of just like a dark. So it's like a dark film. It's like typically like detective film. So it's like they have like voiceover, like stereotypically they'll have like a voiceover and be like I was gonna catch her that day. Like I don't know, something like
Is like Joker film noir?
That'd be like neo noir because it's like yeah,
I see.
for sure.
What? Give me examples of what else is film noir.
have you seen The Third Man? That's like ideal, not stereotypical film noir, because it talks about this one guy as he's going through, like he's trying to figure out more about a story of like the third, as it talks about, like the third man that was there that day that
Yeah, the third.
Oh no.
And so there's just a lot of voiceovers, and it's like it takes the characterization of like a lonely man. It's almost like the American cowboy Western, where it has like the focus on that lonely person like trying to navigate through the film, and you like sort of put yourself in there, but it's more focused on like, at least in my opinion, it's more focused on like the gangster aspect and like the detective figuring things out. Like you don't know exactly what's happening yet.
Okay, interesting. Would you say like Now You See Me is film noir?
Nice.
Nah, just
Now that I think about it, was
there the
there
classic?
a single scene in Taxi Driver where we weren't following him? Like,
There's literally like one or two.
One or
the
two.
main one is the dance scene with Sport and Iris.
okay. Yeah, that's like the one scene.
Yeah,
Okay.
but other than that, it's like all in his perspective. Right.
You answered what I was gonna say. Like that one scene after the shooting where it sort of just like floats through away. Like that's when he's sort of not in frame, but some would interpret that as like his perspective, as he's like
the movie becomes like omniscient, where it's like away from his eyes. What are you gonna say?
the score reminded me of SNL because of the like blaring sax. Like at the beginning of SNL, every episode, it's like. And like this was like that the whole time, and I thought it was great.
Oh, what was it like again?
It was like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what makes it surprising, like to you, that it's in someone's top 4? It's like the pace.
I guess like
This is like a beloved movie.
I guess for me,
This is what I'd expect like a Marvel fan to say about it.
yeah, I do sound like really like I don't know.
I guess because you're coming at it of like rewatchability and like entertainment as far as like favorite movies, because you separate like favorite and best.
Yeah.
Okay, but he has Truman Show on his like top 5.
Yeah, but that's a very different film.
That's a banger. I just watched that yesterday.
Truman Show? Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. It reminds me of this because we're following the main character like the whole thing. So
Yeah.
and we
I see what you mean.
kind of do get his inner monologue at the same time.
I guess what surprises me is I guess I do have like modern taste, so I guess maybe I was not entertained enough. But I mean I like where it went again. Like I liked the movie.
Yeah. But you hated it though.
No, I didn't hate it. I guess I wanted more. In the end.
The Twitter people are coming at you right now.
Yeah, they're coming.
You
at
can hear
me.
them.
They're coming. But I do not care.
Bucky's
I do not
guy
care.
is out of his mind. Because you do like films that like not only keep you entertained for long, like because I know that you're able to appreciate like you see craft when it's there, but it's like at the end of the day, the entertainment, the rewatchability is like, this is it's a tough sit. Like imagine watching this just like every day, like you know what I mean? It's not really a comfort movie per se.
You said you could watch like that first part where he's just driving around for hours, right?
Yeah.
So would you have liked the movie more if it was just more of that?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like,
It just sounds like you're a huge hypocrite. Like
kind of. Yeah.
Like sounds like you're going back on your word.
ragging on him.
No, but I think like what you said encapsulates it perfectly because like I want it all. Like good cinematography, good score, and like entertainment throughout the whole thing. I guess maybe like the middle lagged for me.
Honestly, like even the first time that I watched this movie, it was like this is an all-time great, but there's a middle section in there that's like a little laggy, where it's like the kind of like self-development like incel section, where he's just kind of like developing himself and nothing's really happening. But
Or he's just buying guns, shooting them.
yeah,
And he like is talking in the mirror to himself, like, "You talking to me?"
he's kind of like, oh, we gotta get rid of this scum of the city, right?
I guess I mean that's like exactly what I'm saying is that I appreciate his performance and I appreciate the craft. I just wouldn't put it on my top 4.
Yeah.
But I admire that. I admire the movie. Yeah.
I think that middle part's important though. I think it's supposed to be like an echo chamber for him. Like we're supposed to see how he just evolves by being like progressively like more only talking to himself.
Evolves or devolves?
Evolve.
I think like it adds to the haziness of the film, where it's like it doesn't follow like a strict structure. You just kind of get like lost in it. It's just that it's like not the easiest of watches, right?
Off the bat, do y'all think that obviously De Niro's character is the protagonist of the film? Do y'all think that the president was representative of a what year did the movie come out? The senator, yeah. The dude running for election. It was 76. What year was it? 76?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Can't remember who would be the president at that point or politicians at that point.
I have no idea.
Do y'all think it was any representation of what was going on in the
I'm sure it had to be. Unfortunately, none of us are very well educated on politics. Maybe AJ.
AJ does like a 20-minute monologue on it.
Enlighten us, AJ.
One time, and then that's
In 73, yeah.
I think that was just a commentary on broad like sector of politics. I don't think it was like a specific candidate at that time.
I agree with AJ because it's like very timeless, and it's more of like he's more of a representative of like the fact that Travis Bickle is like not following the politics, but he's also like talking about the scum of the streets and all that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and also it's like I feel like if it was attached to the contemporary politics at the time, it wouldn't be as timeless as it is today, because people are still like looking back at the relationship between Travis and that style of man with the politics of the day. And we also see in Joker, where if you remember like the senator in Joker with the way that they make, what is his name? Palatine?
Palatine.
Yeah, Palestine. Yeah, Palestine.
Kind of like the Wayne of Joker, right? And like representing like the upper class and stuff like that. But obviously we don't know because we weren't there in the 70s.
Yeah, I think AJ made a good point. It's just a broad political one, because even when they ask De Niro, like, what's your thoughts on this? What's your views on this? He's like, oh, well, I don't follow politics a lot.
Exactly.
They do that twice in the movie when Betsy asks him, right? Like, when he's volunteer, like, what do you think about his stance on this? He's like, well, I don't really know.
Yeah.
And in the car scene, when he's driving Palatine, he's like, oh, so what do you think of this? He's like, well, I don't follow politics that much. It's really like no political views at all.
Exactly. I don't think we even really hear his.
We don't hear a
stance.
single
like,
policy.
It's more about the relationship between them.
I think the one I agree with you guys. I think also there is some adjacentness to the Vietnam War because he's a Vietnam vet, and I think like if there was any political statement in it, I think as a representation of like what the war did to culture, like him and culture in general, is like the normalization of this stuff, of the scum.
Yeah, that's interesting because I never watched it from like a post-war, like from a post-war lens. I thought of it more of like it aging with like the whole discourse of like the loneliness epidemic and all that stuff. But I didn't think of it as like individually with that character about him being a veteran and stuff like that. But that's interesting.
I mean, you know, you guys know how like Vietnam was like a huge like controversy, like of like people were like mad, bro.
Was it? You're saying people were mad about the Vietnam War?
They were mad, bro.
I haven't heard of it. Can you elaborate?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So
go ahead, AJ. That's funny. All right. What's it called?
Another thing though about the Vietnam War. So he was in Vietnam. Do you think that had to correlate with? We haven't mentioned this yet, but we think some of the people he talked to were fake. Do you think the Vietnam
Speak
War?
for yourself. We is you three.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't think that?
Any of them were fake?
So even the final scene, you think is real?
I think it's real.
The final scene is real.
I don't want to give this as like a fact. I think either interpretation could work. However, I do think that it was real, but it can also be symbolic without it. Like you can have it being symbolic without diminishing it to being not real.
Just for context to all the viewers, three of us here think that some of the characters
put two of y'all.
Two of us here.
So you think that the final scene is real also?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like I really don't know.
We think some of the characters
I like
he
that
didn't talk to
interpretation, but I don't assume it to be
weren't real.
fact. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I already finished.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When you said that, whenever we watched it, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But I never like not during the movie. I didn't think about that once.
Like independent
at all.
Not once. Except the last scene. That's when it would make sense. Yeah, I didn't think about it once.
Okay, like the scene with Scorsese, right? Like in the back of the taxi, I wouldn't have thought of it like, oh, he's not real, right? But then more scenes with Betsy made me think that. So that's why.
I mean, the theory definitely makes sense when you take, like, going back to the Vietnam War, like, when you take into account that he definitely has, like, PTSD and he's, like, struggling with that. And you can have, like, schizophrenia as a result of that. Like, he might have interpreted it as real, even though it wasn't actual reality.
Yeah.
That is a very good point. But that doesn't contradict what you guys are saying. He's fake, no matter what.
I mean, it kind of, like,
interpretation, right?
Kind of improves our point, right? Because he's kind of crazy from the war. So like, but again, it's just our take. Like,
sure.
Like
I think ultimately it doesn't really matter. Like the movie's pretty loose and it's not. Like I feel like the movie would be worse if we're like, oh, it feels like a twist. Like, oh, that guy was fake. Sure. I feel like that cheapens the movie completely.
Oh, totally.
It's just that like the way that it's filmed and also the way that we watch Travis's perspective. It's that like throughout the whole movie is completely unreliable, and you as the audience are. Like, yes, you're watching it through Travis's perspective, but you're recognizing how wrong he is throughout the whole movie and like the contradictions that he's learning as he's narrating. Like he's talking about like the scum of the streets and how we need to clean up the city. And like, he's one of those people and he's contradicting himself in like the following, what is his name? The senator, while also like knowing nothing about politics, where he's just like always like stepping on his own toes, or he's just like not clear in the head, like clearly. And it's also like the filmmaking will imitate it, where like the scene where he's talking to himself in the apartment, and it's like glitching and it's like rewinding. And what's it sound?
Are you getting picked up?
Yeah.
Okay.
AJ's like, I'm never coming on this pod ever again. Unprofessional.
The viewers don't care about this.
I'm very picky.
Check.
Yeah.
But yeah, but ultimately, I think like it's just fun to like imagine that, say, Scorsese's character isn't real, because I don't think that there's any reason that the film gives for it to like 100% not be that. Sure. If that makes sense. Like especially in the scene where Scorsese is doing his cameo, and it's like it's shot kind of similar to that final Betsy scene, and at least for me, we're led to believe that Betsy isn't real at the end of the movie. So it just made me rethink about like his interactions by himself, where there's no one else there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think it's I mean, like this is I think it's really creative to take something so like simple and mundane, like a taxi driver, and like make this whole thing into it. I mean, like he's amazing, Scorsese.
So before we get into any like categories, just any like general thoughts. Like, what are your like? How do you feel about the film as far as like rating? Where did you
Me?
place it?
Okay,
Yeah.
so rating, I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
Because I admired the craft and I appreciated it and I enjoyed the movie. I didn't feel anything emotionally. And so my general rule is like I give it a 9 if I like felt something.
Yeah.
And then,
You want the tingles.
yeah, I went to tingles, and then 10 if it's like technically good and entertaining and emotionally stirs me. That then I give it a 10. And I was gonna mention this is the best De Niro performance that I've seen by far, but I've only
So you like this more than his performance in part 2?
Yes, yeah. This is the best De Niro I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was gonna bring this up. This is an interesting thing that I was thinking about. I think De Niro being old and still acting hurts my image of him in my head versus Pacino.
Are you thinking about like his post prime career versus his prime? It's like diminishing.
Exactly.
Because you're seeing him in like these cheap comedies that he's
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Killers is different, but like I don't know.
He's in like Dirty Grandpa and stuff like that.
All that stuff. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, De Niro, like he's like an actor. Pacino in my mind right now is like this guy's like on top of a mountain because I've only seen him in amazing things. And I haven't seen all the Pacino films, but I've only seen him in the stuff that like you've shown me, and he doesn't act now. I know that he's still alive, but like
he's still been in films. I think you just haven't.
Like, is he still not doing a lot of films? Like nowadays,
he's still doing like supporting roles. Like
he is. Okay,
but
okay, I didn't know that.
I think De Niro's hitting those comedies and stuff like that a lot more frequently.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. What about you, Sam?
One second.
Go ahead, AJ.
What's wrong with Dirty Grandpa? That was a solid film.
It's just that
nothing like
Dirty Grandpa.
It's nothing perfect, but I enjoyed that.
AJ, you would love that movie. You would love Dirty Grandpa.
It was funny.
No. I'm not, because it's a different type of movie. Is my point. Is that he's talking about his image of De Niro, and it's like he can do that.
Don't crap on Dirty Grandpa to get that point across.
Isn't De Niro in Meet the Flockers or Meet the Parents?
I think so. Meet the one with Ben Stiller, right?
Yeah, is that I think that's Flockers or something. I don't remember. I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So for me, I agree with Elijah. I'd give it an 8 because I didn't feel anything emotionally, right? I enjoyed the movie. I loved it. That's why if it was in my top 5, it's probably like at 5, right? For right now. But what I did love about it is that it got me thinking about it after the movie for like a whole day.
It lives beyond the credits rolling. Which is, that's what I love about it.
When a movie does that to me, that's when I really enjoy it. So it had me thinking about it for like the rest of that day till now, right? And I was talking to Steph about this on our drive over to watch Parasite, actually, that I watched a lot of like philosophical reviews, right?
Philosophical?
Sorry.
I like the little light.
Yeah, a little snicker.
Little sticker from the philosophy major.
Philosophical.
Oh, look at AJ.
Anyways.
AJ doesn't like that.
Thoreau is turning over in his grave right now.
But it just got me thinking about like the different meanings all this movie could have and how anybody could interpret it like any which way. So, yeah, that's what I like.
All right, sounds good. All right, AJ, what do you think?
I rated this a 10 out of 10.
Yes, sir. The only right answer here out of the lineup.
10 out of 10.
That means nothing in terms of my.
Let's go ahead and put up AJ's letterbox graph on the screen here. Look at that. That's nasty, bro.
I'm not something to. It's okay. You know what? I'm done defending that.
Oh yeah, bring it out. Oh
boy.
Oh, come out, AJ.
Who says that has to be objective? I don't care if it's like an 8 or something. I enjoyed that movie. It made me feel things. That is a 10.
Let's go and put it back up on the screen.
So I watched The Truman Show and The Perks of Being a Wallflower yesterday. Those both have their own flaws. 10s. I don't care. 10s.
Yeah.
10s.
I mean, you have every right.
So generous.
It's still funny though, because you'll have like Shrek the Musical at like a 9.
Okay, that was a joke. I actually didn't finish that one. I just started it and I was like, this is funny if I rate this highly because it's Shrek the Musical. Shrek the Musical.
And by the way, that's the next episode.
It's clearly not wrong. It's just funny.
Yeah, it's just funny. You could do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Interstellar's still at 4 out of 10.
You see like a tear coming down. I'm allowed to do this.
I just want to point out the fact that that AJ gave God's Not Dead 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all 10 stars.
It was 1 and 2 only, and I cried after God. Actually,
okay,
I
valid,
legitimately
valid.
cried at the end of God's Not Dead 1.
1, yeah. What?
I
What
was
is
like
okay.
7.
This is
This is
crazy.
my first like religious experience.
Isn't that okay? Doesn't the dude get hit by a car?
Yes,
okay,
he does.
that's completely
Spoilers.
fine with me, bro.
We're doing a God's Not Dead pod next.
It's the dude who hosted the show. Are you smarter than a 5th grader? But I don't know his name, but I know he's like not a very good actor.
It's like you're crying not because of the movie, but like imagining that guy getting hit by a car.
Yeah, the game show host.
Like, no, don't die. Oh my
He
gosh.
gave his life to Christ at the end. That's what matters.
That's important right
And it's
there.
beautiful.
All right, that's nice. Let's get into categories here.
Yeah, we're still talking about Taxi Driver.
These are all what's it called, in random order. I think we should just fire through these. Let's start off with what do y'all think is the most rewatchable scene? You gotta pick one.
Let's see.
AJ's like the scene at the end where the atheist gets hit by a car. And he gives his life to Christ, and then Travis Bickle comes out and says it'll be okay.
So, side note, what'd y'all think about the haircut at the end?
Oh, the Mohawk.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that one next.
You're getting Travis Bickle for Halloween.
I didn't get what it meant like at all. I just thought it was a funny haircut. That's it.
I thought it was a sign of like insanity.
Yeah.
Him going insane. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the category. Oh, most rewatchable.
scene. Yeah. I was having I was trying to think of like nominees for this, and just it's difficult because the whole movie is like one long string of sequences, so it's hard to like divide up scenes.
Great point.
I don't know. What do you think, AJ?
Okay, so like rewatchable, like it was just a good scene to rewatch. Because in my
it's different from like best scene, right? A lot of the time.
yeah, so like for me, and I know this might be like hot take, but like the
Oh no.
Oh, boy, I think I know what he's gonna say.
Oh no.
so I just
Oh no!
that scene
Kids,
was
look away.
no
What scene?
no
The Irish dancing scene with
Oh, that's weird,
that's
bro.
crazy.
You're firing that up at lunch like you're like, oh yeah.
the scene where Travis takes Betsy on.
I knew it.
Okay, but that's just because it makes me upset at how
you're a bad boy.
I don't like her.
Why'd you like it?
You don't like Betsy?
Why was
I
it
I don't like
rewatchable?
Betsy. She didn't
is a
give him a
good-
chance.
This is a
Don't
good time
like
to
He
get
is
into
a
this.
PTSD-ridden veteran with possible schizophrenia, and he's shown
doesn't
that to
know
her
that.
that he's like not all there. And then, of course, like it's wrong to take your girlfriend to a porn theater, but he apologized, said, "I'm willing to take you somewhere else." I didn't know. I apologize. He offered like whatever he could, and she's like, "No," and then she ghosted him. And I don't think she gave
completely
him
in the right.
She
I
is
disagree.
not.
This is like our fourth time talking about this, by the way.
What's the issue?
Okay, well,
If anybody took me there, I would do the same
Think
thing.
about it, AJ. Imagine if she was your daughter.
Yeah. I'm not watching that.
I'd laugh and be like, okay, all right, I'm done with this. Let's go somewhere else. But anyways,
But imagine
okay.
if she was your daughter, though, and then you're like, why are you going out with the guy that took you to the porn theater?
Plus, she knew beforehand that it was a porn theater. She looked at they walked up to get the concession. She's like, "This is a dirty movie."
Well, she felt uncomfortable.
And he was like, "We can go somewhere else," didn't he?
I think it's weird that he even brought her in the first place. I don't care that he's.
Yeah, it is weird, but he's like mentally ill. Like
Okay, but she doesn't owe him.
Like, say if I did that, yes, you have full because I know what
I
I'm
see what you
doing if
mean.
I did that. If Elijah did that, that makes sense. This man went to Nam and he came back. I think he's allowed an oopsie.
So if a Gilbert Grape invited you to a porn
He's
theater,
not even the
would you go?
He's not even the character.
All right, I'll be the judge of that tomorrow.
Gilbert Grape
Tomorrow,
is
I'll
Johnny
get back with you and I'll tell you.
So AJ's moral of Taxi Driver is if you went to Nam, you get a pass. One porn theater for
Yeah,
the first date. And
one
after
pass.
that, you're good. You're good.
In that case, I'm going to Dom.
She even said beforehand, she's like, "There's no one I ever met like you." It was like, you can't expect him to be normal. Like, you can't be like, "How dare you do this? I'm never talking to you again." Like, okay, oops, let's move on. Let's
No, I see his point now. I see it. I still don't like agree, but I see what you mean.
okay, yeah.
I'm not saying it's right in the slightest. I'm just saying one more chance, one more like recognize who this guy is because he's clearly not there like fully.
She did kind of lead him on, but AJ,
Oh, she fully let him.
She has the right to leave him, though.
he's kind of a fucking creep.
Yes.
He doesn't know that he was in Nam. Like, at the end of the day, her first impression was him looking at her through the window like this.
Okay, but that speaks more to her choices than his.
That's fair.
If they're like, why is this guy staring at me for several hours? And he walks in and he's like, you're beautiful. Let me take you on a date.
But at that point, that was like the third
That's
chance.
on her. Why did she like?
But that also
not to victim blame.
No. But that also
AJ always victim blame.
that also leans into the like unreliable narration in the film where we're like questioning of like if like this happened. There's also like, since we're watching it through Travis Bickle's eyes, there's the malleability of like, did the scene that we watched actually happen that way, or did it happen that way in his head, right? Of like how charming he was with Betsy, and that's also leading into like how extreme you want to interpret the film. But
you could also, if you take it the literal route, you could also take into account that she was very much like going through some like depressive like episode, well, not episode, but she was very depressed. Like she didn't
like very like lonely, as he says.
She was lonely, and you could take it as her desperation in the first place to like agree to go to like a cafe or whatever with him, and she's like willing to give it a shot, even though it's very clear from the jump that like they're not exactly compatible for each other. And then like the porn theater was just confirming in her mind what she already knew. In which case that makes more sense. But like if she was like all gung ho and then he makes one slip up, then it's kind of like.
Yeah, because I mean that is weird though, right? Because their first impression of the dude is that he's like a creep staring through the door, but then he walks in with a suit, and all of a sudden, like she's all up on him, right?
It might have also been like, so like you know what a beard is?
No, what's a beard?
It's like when
I know what that. I learned the other day. But
can you
tell me
explain
again?
Can you explain it?
No, tell me again.
It's like when a lesbian will like date a man to like mask the fact that this is not what I'm saying it is. I'm just saying something akin to that, because that one guy at our campaign that she works with was on her, and she's like, this will get him off my back, because if I have like a boyfriend, then I don't have to worry about this guy at work all the time. It's more so like
talking about the glasses dude.
Yeah. Because I mean, like he's very like all over her, and you could tell she was very uncomfortable with it. I think that might have also been a factor of like, I should entertain someone because maybe it'll alleviate some of the other problems in my life. But who knows?
What'd y'all think of the dude who was the girl's friend that when he came in, like
The glasses guy?
yeah, the
Oh,
glasses.
bro was a tease. Yeah.
Was a tease?
No. He was literally just trying to flirt with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. He was like the, what do you call it? The middle piece between Betsy and Travis.
Yeah.
And even like when he's trying to talk to Betsy, he's like, get out here, bud. Like, you know.
Okay, now if that guy took Betsy to a porn theater, it's totally understandable for her to have like walked out.
I think it doesn't matter.
That's such an odd
your
take.
background.
No.
That is
I
so
think your
odd.
background doesn't. If you're taken to a
Hey,
porn
dude, I'm
theater,
taking you to a
every
porn
right.
theater, and if you don't stay for the whole movie, I'm gonna be pissed.
Dude, philosophy majors.
He's like quoting Nietzsche and like why like she's wrong for leaving him.
Okay,
Will to power.
Like Camus.
for most rewatchable scene for me, I'm gonna say like the last scene. Or, sorry,
Like the final shootout scene or the
the shootout scene.
not the epilogue.
No, not the
Not the
epilogue.
little end
the
tag.
shootout scene. Oh no, actually, okay, I'm changing my mind. It's when De Niro does the mirror stuff.
The mirror stuff. Yeah.
That stuff is just like so charming.
Yeah.
It's so like
Yeah, you're charmed by him.
yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I'm down bad for De Niro.
Down bad for De Niro.
I thought that was freaking great.
So kind of like that montage where I like the
guns.
montage where he's like cutting up the stuff and putting together like the mechanism to sling out the gun.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to improve and he's journaling.
The interesting thing is that, like, by standards nowadays, I feel like people could, like, if somebody said, "Oh, that's cringy," I would understand where they're coming from. But I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Did y'all think it was cringy when he's like, I don't know.
I didn't think it was cringy. I was like, because I kind of knew.
I think it's not his performance. Sorry, Sam. It's not his performance that's cringy, but like like watching it, like you're whenever you're like if you're watching someone else like rehearse in a mirror, it's like that kind of cringy. Sorry,
Yeah, that makes
Sam. I
sense.
like fully interrupted you.
Thank
Did you forget?
No, okay. I don't care. I forgot what I was saying anyways, but yeah, I agree with you. It wasn't really like cringy. So I actually enjoyed that scene. I think it's one of my top scenes, but it wouldn't be my most like rewatchable one. My most rewatchable one would be where he interviews for the job as a taxi driver.
The opening scene.
Yes.
Why? That's interesting.
I feel like that's how we get hooked on him. He became like,
See, you were like hooked on him from From that scene alone?
When he said, "I'll work anytime, anywhere," I was like, "Yeah, I love him."
Sam was like, "This is the type of guy I want to be."
Yeah, it sounds like Sam McCain's, bro. I'll work anytime, anywhere. I was working the night shift.
Actually, bro.
I'm not gonna hold you. I do not even remember that scene.
You don't remember that scene? That's fair. Like,
Is that the very? It's the
it's
first.
like the very
first scene.
beginning. Yeah,
That's interesting.
I love that scene.
But before I get to mine, I wanted to ask you, AJ. So you're saying the most rewatchable scene is when he takes her to the porn theater, like they're already there, like that whole like where does that scene begin and end for you?
Oh no, no, he just likes the porn theater scene.
Tell us more,
like, where it's
AJ.
showing the
He's
movie.
like only that 3-second clip of the.
I mean, okay, realistically, it's not like a single scene because I like the rise and fall, and that's like multiple scenes.
That
like
little
from the beginning when he first said something to her to I'd say the phone scene where like he's like, after this, she never picked up the
Dude,
phone.
that is a phenomenal.
Like I think that entire arc, but I think that's like 3-4 scenes like altogether. So I wouldn't say it's like fair for me to say that, but
But I mean, we could stretch it because with this movie specifically, the way that it's structured, it's like kind of like a bunch of sequences tied together, right?
I really love that arc specifically because it's like the last line before he like truly descends into his madness.
Yeah, I think for me, it's not like the most consequential scene in the movie, but easily like if I'm firing one up, it's the Scorsese cameo.
Good, great pull.
Yeah, like that scene on its own is just a great like micro little short film of like he's a taxi driver, he's got a guy, and he walks in, he's all like keep it running. I didn't tell you to stop it. I didn't tell you to stop it. And this whole time you're watching it, and like Travis Bickle's the most insane guy in the movie that you watched so far. And I like how as this guy keeps yapping, even Travis Bickle is like creeped out by this dude. And I like how it's this like reminder that like yes, we're watching it from Travis Bickle's perspective, and it's this like lonely man that's like slowly disintegrating into madness, but there are other people in New York that are as like insane as he is, and that he's not the only Travis Bickle in the city, because this guy's talking about like popping his wife's head, right? And also that's just the greatest like director in his own movie performance ever, like that.
Dude, he was amazing.
Yeah, and I don't want to step on one of the other categories, but a fun little trivia is that since he's only 5'3", when shooting that, they had to sit him on blankets so that he was like
Really?
visible in the camera.
Really?
Yes.
Dude, he's an attractive man. what, like, I only know him as old now, but dude, he was that beard.
He looks nothing like himself in Taxi Driver. Like I could not find a single recognizable feature from what I know of what he looks like now.
He looks more like you than Martin Scorsese.
That's funny.
You know,
You're gonna change it?
no, maybe. It's because I thought about this scene a lot just now. When he gets broken up with, like almost right after, and he's like, "All right, I'm done. It's time to train. It's time to like make my body rigid. It's time for like
Yeah.
routine."
Yeah.
Starts working out. Puts his hand over like the fire. on the stove.
And like the veins are popping.
Yeah, and
That
he's
was
just,
funny.
like, going-
Yeah, I do that every morning before I go to school.
I'm like, what kind of routine is this?
Imagine if like Travis Bickle was a TikTok influencer and he's going to like get ready with me, and he like sits his phone down like with them out, and he's like oh. I want Travis Bickle's TikTok. That's
Remember to do that for 10 minutes every morning.
So that your sequence, I think, though, is like probably the most iconic run in the movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I like all y'all's scenes except AJ. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Okay. Another good one
that
though.
up on his break.
Another good one though is when he's like talking with the other cab drivers because they're so like funny.
Dude, I was gonna
Like
say,
they're just they're just out there. Like I don't know. There's something about it.
Wizard.
The forehead.
Wait, what are their what are their names? It's like Killer is Travis.
I don't even
Bickle.
remember.
A Wizard.
That was towards the end of it though.
Like all three of them have like a
Funny nicknames.
funny nickname.
What was the
used to-
funniest thing that you?
They called him
remember them
Doughboy
saying?
at first, and then at the end of the movie it was Killer. And it was Doughboy because he'd do anything for a buck.
Oh yeah.
Or you saying?
What was the funniest thing that you remember from them saying? I don't
I don't know.
remember.
I just remember him.
Stuff
Like,
I probably can't repeat.
yeah.
I just remember Travis going up to the wizard and he's like, "Hey, can I ask you something?" He's like, "Yeah, ask me anything." That's why they call me the wizard.
Yeah, that's true.
There are some good quotables just in the way that they talked.
Something that was particularly funny to me is how I don't know if this was the first one or the second time that they were meeting together, but they were sort of just the other people were talking, and you just see Travis look to the back of the diner, and it's just literal pimps, like a stereotypical, and they're just there, like they have nothing to do. They're just there, like looking him
Are
down.
you talking about like the black guys and like the quote?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I was reading a review about this of like
Cancel the podcast.
I didn't think about this while watching the movie, but there's like a really heavy silent racism in the film where like it's never explicit, but he's just like like looking at the black people in disgust throughout the entire.
He definitely is. Yeah.
Like
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that.
I
he
was looking at a political lens.
I'd say the house that he shut up was entirely like white though too. So I mean, I understand that, but the primary motivator of his actions was all white.
Yeah, for sure. Any other candidates there? I think the first scene where you meet up with Sport is really funny. Like, are you a narc? Are you a narc?
that's
like,
funny.
I feel like that's a good pull right there.
You a cowboy? Yeah.
You a cowboy?
I'd be seeing though. Actually, today on TikTok, I saw one of like that in real life, where like they come in like a weed shop, and they're like, "I need some flour. I need some flour," but you can clearly tell it's like an undercover cop. They're like so obvious. Like I saw that in real life today on TikTok.
And
In real life
they're like,
on
you
TikTok.
can't say like they think that you can't say you're not a cop because that's entrapment when like that doesn't exist.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like the video that I saw today, when the dude asked for flour, he pulled out his like all-purpose flour, like that you cook with. I was like, "Here's some flour for you." I'm so dumb.
Okay.
I need to see your For You page.
And then also we talked about the last shootout scene, right?
What about the scene with the senator? I actually really like the scene where the senator was in his car.
The cab,
That
right?
was a great
Because
scene.
that was like
Yeah.
a really sharp distinction between what you would expect like a senator presidential candidate to be like, because he was like portrayed as a really good guy. And I think the film intentionally like wanted us to view him as a good guy, primarily for like contrast between Travis trying to kill him. But I think he was like intentionally trying to be a good guy because they would like shoot to camera like shots that like indicated less what Travis could see and more like what the senator was just doing regardless of what Travis could see. And it was more so like he had an actual like heart for the people that he was with, and he would like went out of his way to like shake Travis's hand. Like I thought he was a very like a good person. And like when you have like the pretentious like we are the people, like you would think like, oh, this guy
was funny.
sucks. Like
Throw
he's
the buttons away.
he's just saying
the buttons.
We are the people.
but I just like that.
And then the last pull that I'm thinking of in my head, which like just trying to think through the movie, it's like a lot funnier than I remember. Like the scene with the Secret Service guard where he's just like yapping.
Bro, that was hilarious.
Like, I'm a pretty observant fellow, you know, and he's just like gives him like a fake address and stuff.
I could be a Secret Service agent. Like, yeah, he's like,
and it's like dumb smile. Like,
and what's your zip code?
Then like when he tries to do it, and he makes one move and he just runs like nothing. So.
It was really funny. And also like the failed assassination attempt is just shot in a cool way too, where I like how the camera is like panning with the people and you see like his jacket and then it shoots up and it reveals like
Great shot.
the haircut.
Speaking of the scene where the senator's in the back of the cab, correct me if I'm wrong. Do I remember him like De Niro's character is going on about the scum of like how messed up things are.
You're talking about the cab scene?
And then the senator is like, yeah, but there's a lot that goes into cleaning that up.
Yeah, he's like, there's a lot of logistics and like all that. And he was also like uncomfortable by what he was saying. Like he was like, oh, this guy's fucking.
Yeah. He's like, he's awesome. I thought it was like, if we're looking at it from a political lens, like that's a very politician answer is like, and that might
like it means nothing.
Yeah. And that could be like another motive or another like thought behind why he's insane is like the politics of that stuff. That's like if we're looking at it from a political view.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of.
I don't think it was more so about like the answer itself, but also like you have to take stock of what he's saying when he says, "I want you to clean up the scum." Like he's like, well, evidenced by the final scene, I think he wants them to like all die, but what the senator could interpret that as like jailing all of them, like putting them in prison and like kicking homeless people off the streets and stuff like that, like putting people in, like away, like out of sight, out of mind. And I think it's just genuinely like to make note of how insane it is to be like, you need to get rid of all these people. Like you need to just get rid of half the population. Like it's very like Thanos.
It's like Thanos.
Like that's crazy.
We should have just stared at him like.
But also, I think, well, this is a completely separate thought, but it's during that scene where he's like, I'm not very like in with politics. I think a lot of that is like, well, partially because I take the interpretation of the film as like a representation of his mind. And so,
sure.
I mean, like, that's very obvious. Like, that's the most obvious interpretation of that movie.
Interstellar's like, it's in space.
But where he's like, oh, I don't know much about politics. So he's like he dwindles himself down. Like he has a very small idea of himself that like causes himself to lash out. Like he's like, well, I don't know much about this, or I can't really speak too much about this.
It's funny that that's all he says about politics the whole movie.
Yeah.
He says that about like a lot of like like I'm not
Like, I
very
don't know
smart.
anything.
Like
He's like, I don't really know movies. I don't know much.
He said it so straight too. He's like, yeah, I don't really know anything.
Like I don't know much about nothing. Like like
yeah, and then you cut to the next scene and he's trying to assassinate the dude. Right? It's
and
so
he's
funny.
making a makeshift like sling shotgun or sling like gun coming out of his arm like.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also just like once you know more about how crazy he is, like they put those scenes at the beginning where you think he's more straight and narrow, and it comes off as like very humble. Like, yeah, I can't say I know much about this. Like you can teach me or whatever. But once you go towards the end and you realize he's insane, it comes off more as like an insecurity and like he doesn't see himself as much, which is why he's like so willing to lash out against a larger system.
Yeah, for sure.
Another reason he might have been insane is because his lack of sleep.
Sam knows a thing or two about that.
Sam is sciencing this thing.
He's like, according to my calculations.
According to the continuity, it was only getting about 2 hours and 43 minutes.
I counted every hour he got.
Mr. Continuity.
But like even at the beginning, he's like, "Yeah, I gotta work nights. I can't sleep very well." Like,
so you probably hella relate to this because you work nights.
I was like, "That's me throughout the whole movie."
He's at Kane's like, we gotta get rid of this.
No, watch out for Sam, bro. That would be funny to like overanalyze, like think of every reason why he could have gone crazy. Like, yeah, the traffic regulations in New York these days. That'll do it to a man.
Bro, his rent was like just way too high. No.
His rent,
the tolls will
the smell of all of his flowers in the apartment, taking him out slowly.
I keep on thinking back to like when we finished watching the movie, and you said at the end like. It's clear that the movie it's ironic because he's talking about cleaning up the scum and he is the scum.
Yeah.
I think that's like my takeaway from the movie or like one of the biggest symbolisms that I see.
Yeah. And then before we move on from this category, I think we could relate on this especially is like it's early in the film, but just the montage of like when he first gets the driving job and just going da 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 da, and he's just watching the city, the neon lights, and him like just driving around. It's like Loki, like a 3-hour montage of that just in the background. That's killer.
It's like some good study music.
Yeah, that's gas. All right, so we all got that. I wanted to go into so obviously the movie rests on De Niro's shoulders, right? And Scorsese, like those are like who you think of with the movie. Those are the big swingers. But who do y'all think stole the movie? Like who had a smaller part? Who's the sixth man of the year here? I wrote down 3 candidates just for my own ideas. I had Jodie Foster, who's barely in the movie,
brilliant,
but the movie doesn't work without her. Scorsese, and I'm not talking about his direction, but like his one scene is like my favorite scene in the movie. And then Keitel is Sport, who's just like cranking it in his like 5 minutes of screen. Like who stole the movie for y'all? Like
for me, it was definitely Scorsese. It's not even close.
Yeah, same.
But he probably had like 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah, just a few minute scenes.
I mean, we already touched on it, but I thought it was like.
His line delivery is impeccable.
Yeah.
Like 44 Magnum plus, you gotta see that.
Yeah.
It's just so like good.
And I know you had mentioned this, and he was an actor before he was a director. Is that true?
Pretty sure.
Because you said some directors act before, and that would make sense because like
at the very least he was an actor, obviously. Yeah.
I think it's interesting because thinking of like a director's role in a movie is like they know what they want, and Scorsese was like able to do exactly what he wanted. Like he knew what he wanted. Yeah. Like I imagine like some dude that he hired to do it, and he's like, no. Yeah, you're not cutting it. And he just goes and like doesn't. I know that's probably not what happened, but I think that's funny to imagine.
I'm curious though, because like I wonder if like it was literally like. Because remember, like we're thinking of Scorsese and De Niro as like these big legends because we've seen their or like we were aware of their career, but this is Scorsese's sophomore project. Like he's still like
how crazy.
Yeah, really? This is how we look at. Yeah, this is his second film. So like how we look at like I don't know like Sean Baker or Robert Eggers like now and like they're still early in their career like Chazelle who's only made like 3-4 films.
Yeah.
Like Scorsese wasn't like a big shot yet.
Yeah.
He wasn't huge. So
sure.
Like I could totally see it if like something fell through with that guy and then he just threw himself in there.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Sam? Who steals it?
Sport.
Yeah. Keitel.
The scene where he's like, "Are you looking for some action?" Or I don't remember what term they use, but yeah.
Yeah, you want some action?
I'll show you action.
He just takes it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, AJ?
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. I was back and forth between him and De Niro.
Yeah.
I think the other taxi drivers, personally. I think,
Oh, that's a good pull.
I know it's not like a single. I mean,
But that
arguably
little
though, like
ensemble,
that
yeah.
one bald dude was kind of more important.
Is that Wizard?
Yeah, Wizard.
Wizard?
But because he sort of went to them for advice, and I think they had one of the biggest roles in like egging him on because they introduced him to the guy who gave him weapons and guns, and he was like there's that scene where De Niro took Wizard aside and was like, hey, like, what do you ever just want to like do something? And
crazy.
like Wizard was, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was the most unhelpful thing I've ever like. He could have been like, hey, I know you're like down.
Nah, he was like, yeah, go ahead and do that shit. Go get laid. Go fuck around.
I do remember that scene specifically. He's like, do you ever want to just do something? Just want to do something?
Like, yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I think there were a lot of opportunities for him to have gotten help, and I think those taxi drivers did the exact opposite of whatever they could have done. And I think they had an underrated role in like pushing him to the edge.
You're thinking like Wizard's like, yeah, I really know like a good therapist. Like you gotta
Yeah.
Like, he's like
Have
the
you
language.
tried
should've.
BetterHelp? It's
He's like,
you use this
like,
promo
man, I just
code.
got to get a gun.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Would this movie be made today? Could it be made today?
There's so many reasons why
You want to make this with an Uber driver?
Gonna make this with Kirk?
Kirk.
Why couldn't it be made today?
Well, there's the whole thing of like just like ignoring the subject matter of Taxi Driver on its own, which is already like a slippery slope. Like indie productions today, they're just like dying. Like if there are like just more normal films that are struggling to seek funding, it's like,
Well, are they?
this up.
Like Anora just won the Oscar.
dude, yeah, that's like
That's the exception.
that's the thing though, is that we wouldn't be freaking out about it if that was normal, right? Like we're freaking out about it because it is that rare, and also that was independently financed by Sean Baker. Like there, like no studio's backing that, right? You know,
I'll back it.
we're backing it with the pod with the Goldfish Boys. Obviously there's no N-word in it with Scorsese and
Yeah.
whatever else there was in there,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
so that would change. It's tough. I think it would be a much smaller like movie today. Like it just
Wait, the N-word was in Taxi Driver?
yeah, Martin Scorsese drops it.
Yeah, I forgot it was Scorsese himself.
Yeah.
He's like, you know who?
Oh, don't say it, Sam. He just drops it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bad look that we're like, yeah, Scorsese did great. Scorsese did great.
Scorsese
Say goodbye to your job.
I think barring Scorsese, like Keitel is like my favorite like supporting performer though.
He's good.
Yeah, couldn't make that movie today. Prostitutes and pimps don't exist. They're illegal.
yeah.
They're illegal.
They're
So like
illegal.
they just don't exist.
There you go.
I think we're just gonna have to make it Taxi Driver 2.
Something I personally enjoyed, which is not like, I don't think he's an underrated character at all. He like is perfectly well just flying under the radar. But that store owner, not like it was just kind of
Forgot about
funny.
that
Like it was just kind of funny. Like he just
That was crazy.
like
Oh, the one
he just started like, like
Oh,
just
that was
beating-
crazy.
Yeah, like like he shoots him right,
Bro.
and it's like,
It's like, I'll take care of this.
I got it in a mirror, and it's like, oh, okay.
Maricón. You're fucking.
He said
you'd
this is the
assume he'd
sixth
get
time of the
help.
week.
Yeah.
No. I don't think it was this week. It was like that month
This is a
or
month, yeah.
yeah, something like that.
What, that was insane, bro. What, one a day?
He's like,
That was
you want to steal shit? Like, you know, hitting him.
Yeah, he's like, I got it from here. I would assume he would call the cops and an ambulance, but he's no.
That's crazy.
Like looking back on it, the movie's like hilarious for some reason, but it's also like so wrong because the dude is just so clearly racist that he's
Yeah.
like almost not even mad that the robber like came in there. He's just glad that he has a chance to beat the crap out of him. That's crazy. So is that the most rewatchable scene for you, AJ?
They love that.
You know the scene.
De Niro's like, I don't got a permit for this. The other guy's like, don't worry about it. And so,
Real talk, what is it with directors and like wanting to cast themselves to say the N-word in their movies? Like Tarantino does that too.
I heard the director of Sleeves. What was it?
Like I was begging to try to like squeeze it in there.
there's the director's cut that has it. You know.
I just think that it's those two are the like popular versions of it, but I can't think of any other like idea that unless there's just like a list of like Orson Welles is like in another movie just like dropping it like Hitchcock.
Yeah, I guess I can't think of another example, but two
Two is enough. Two is too much.
in this day and
I
age.
had a nickel.
Yeah, like Django Unchained. Yeah.
Django
He does that
Unchained
all the
is
time.
crazy.
Triangle.
Just says it.
I could be wrong with this, but I also don't think Tarantino wrote himself in that part to begin with, which is you know, that helps. If that
He just knew that
better
he
for you,
could say
AJ.
it better. He was like, that's not gonna cut
The
it.
inflection.
He heard the random actor say the N word, and he was like, no, let me
I like
figure
our
out
response to the pod is having like a really big like N-word section.
Yeah.
Like, N-word bit.
Just four dudes.
The partner is talking about the N-word.
Four dudes not saying the N-word.
That's
One might.
That's the title of the pod is episode 1 taxi driver, and then in parentheses like trying not to say the N-word.
He almost lost it in Taxi Driver with one of the subtitles. Remember? Snickers?
Oh yeah, Snickers.
Yeah, but it wasn't spelled like.
It was not spelled right.
AJ.
They will not like this
Hopefully
in Pittsburgh.
Sam's able to control himself before we end the pod.
I mentioned, you know.
All right, so we hit up like actors that stole the movie, but I was thinking like below the line. We have like Ehrman for the score, Schrader on the screenplay. Like, what was y'all's favorite like technical aspect below the line besides directing? For me, it's like
Below
Ehrman.
the line?
Yeah, below the. Oh yeah, I should probably explain that. So below
Yeah,
the line,
explain that to AJ.
He's like, you're like, I know, but explain that to that guy over there. Below the line is like a financing term in film where the director, the actors, and the main producers are like considered above the line. And then all the technical crew below that is the bulk of the budget because there's composing, scripting, and all the artisans and craftsmen and technicians, all the way down to lighting and all that crap. So I was just thinking like, this movie is very well rounded in all the technical aspects and the cult aspects. What's y'all's favorite part? For me, it's Ehrman with the score. Like the movie's not the same.
score, absolutely.
Yeah, he
The
just like
score
destroys it.
takes the spotlight, but the visuals, those are beautiful. Like the city, the shots. And there's this one scene where he's like looking through his rearview mirror, and it like fades into the city lights.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you know which one. I'm
Like
talking
at
about.
the very end, like the last scene.
I don't even remember when it was.
Several times he did that.
He did that several times.
Yeah.
I remember one specific one. But
I mean, the scores clearly, but like the cinematography, like you're saying, like the camera shots. Great point on like the assassination attempt. Like all the camera work specifically was great. The lighting, like
just
it would be easy to like one thing that we're seeing that I'm learning in like these old films is like it's much more harsh than we see in movies today.
Yeah,
and
like the shadows and
if this movie was shot today, it would not look like
it all
this.
soft and
Yeah. So I thought like it would be easy to mess up or shoot a movie like this in a different way with it mostly being at night.
Yeah.
And on the streets of New York. I thought the cinematography and the lighting was great.
yeah.
I think another point to make about the score is that I like how it sort of like told the story in another way as well. Like at the very beginning, you would get a lot of the score. Like it was very prevalent throughout the film. And as he slowly like descends into like towards that scene where he like does the shootout, there's just like less and less. Like once you get to that scene where he's I think finished with his assassination attempt on the senator and then goes to what's the proper term?
hotel.
It's not a hotel, Sam, but
brothel?
it's a brothel. Yeah, well,
The hotel.
I don't know. He
something. Wait, the
Oh yeah, it's like
bad place. Yeah.
that's
second location.
the no area.
Once he gets there, the music just sort of stopped altogether. Like you don't see,
The Playhouse.
you don't like.
That's what we're in. We're in right now.
And then the music comes back once he's finally shot everyone, and the police are there like pointing guns at him. Like once everything is like said and done, and that's when you finally get the score back, which I thought was just like really
I
interesting.
thought he died in that scene.
Yeah.
It makes it more eerie.
Like when the first bullet hit him, I thought he was dead.
I thought, it was.
It grazed his cheek, right? Is that what
I think it was his neck.
Neck.
Yeah.
Grazed his neck.
I was like, how's he not dead from? Like,
Yeah, me too.
I think you're thinking of Cervico, where it like went through his face.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I think also the score is like so ironically cozy. Like what you're watching is just a bunch of like scum and people like throwing crap at his. Yeah.
And then you touch.
It's like such a like in the opening with the taxi driver like montage. It's just so warm and so welcoming. Like I think it's so odd how inviting the score is. Like it just feels like home. But then you're watching it and it's just like this crumbling city. I don't know. I think it's a nice touch. I don't know what to make of it, but it's also just nice.
For sure.
That's what you got from it, like warm and welcoming.
Like the score independently. Like if I'm just tossing it on its own, da 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 da. Like to me, that's a pleasing sound.
I would disagree, like hard disagree. That
Whoa.
doesn't feel.
How hard, AJ?
I mean, there is like a like dissonance in the sax, but like the melody on top is just so pleasing to my ear, at least. Like I would just throw that on, like driving around in that, and I'm like peaceful listening to that.
Listen, okay, I would disagree because, well, it's also just, I can't even pinpoint why. It's just like, like it doesn't feel homey at all to me. It feels like intentionally eerie. Like it feels like there's something that you're missing, but it's in a way of like, it feels gross almost. Like it's beautiful, but it's gross in a way. So like, when I first watched it, like I was like, oh, this is great. Like I love it. Yeah. But it wasn't until I was like in college, just like hating my life when I was like, Taxi Driver soundtrack. Like I never listened to it for feel good. It's like when you listen to like breakup songs when you're like crying and stuff, like you like hate like stuff that makes you cry.
You have a lot of experience with that.
Wait, so AJ, you wouldn't listen to this like while studying?
I mean, I could listen to it while studying. I wouldn't feel great. I wouldn't be like, oh boy, like chipper day.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, I don't mean like that it's like an uplifting, like jolly soundtrack, but I just think it's like nice
like
and mellow. It's like
take a breather.
Yeah.
It feels alienating to me. Like it feels like I'm in a place that I don't recognize.
So
I can see that.
But for me, like if I'm on a road trip, like I would feel great just like turning that on.
You know, window open, the air and just that. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Elijah?
I think score sucks.
Man, this movie sucks.
This movie sucks.
Just kidding.
That's an interesting like topic. I definitely get like the more warm and welcoming stuff.
Yeah.
But I see what you mean though. If anything,
what AJ's talking about is definitely present.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, in the score.
If anything, I get like more like smooth and sexy.
Yeah.
Like
it could absolutely be my
unironically.
connotation because I can't. It's difficult for me to separate the movie from that score too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Absolutely.
Because when you're watching it in like the context of the movie, it's kind of exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, like depressive incel type,
Yeah, exactly. But I think like just like independently on its own, it gives me like that vibe where I could just throw it on and it's nice.
For sure.
Like cup of coffee. So not even like any flowers for Schrader. I feel like the movie's just not existent without like him like writing the screenplay and it being like almost autobiographical. But we just love the score so much.
Yeah.
All right. What's it called? Let's get into a funny one. We added this after watching Serpico with all the fits.
Oh no.
Frank Serpico, Best Bit of the Movie Award.
Oh.
I'm thinking Sport takes it like easily.
Sports is liking it, bro.
I love Travis's cowboy fit.
You're really loving Travis, eh? Sam?
Yeah, bro.
Sam is like, this is my idol.
I would be dressed up like that. Like
So which fit?
When he's dressed up like a cowboy.
Okay. Oh, so when he's talking to Sport.
Yeah, I don't know. It just created that interaction, so it made it my favorite fit.
Best fit of the movie.
I think sport takes it. For me.
It's specifically the one where it's like his pants are like up here and it's, it's like what is it, like a white beater? Like what is that, bro?
Also, to me when in the assassination attempt scene when he's wearing the green jacket, for me that's just like funny. Like I'm not sure why. It's just like
he wears that green jacket a lot though, right?
Anytime.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's a nom jacket.
Yeah. That might be why.
Big on the nom. That's probably like the most iconic. Like as far as like costumes, like that specific fit was specifically that haircut.
The haircut, yeah. Like whenever you go on Letterboxd and you look at the poster, it's that with the haircut. It kind of like I feel like Full Metal Jacket vibes with whole like a lot of parallels there with the dude going crazy.
Yeah, you're talking about the first half of Full Metal.
Yeah, for sure. Like when I saw the poster, I was like, that gives me those vibes. So interesting parallel.
Yeah. Okay. Talladega Nights, quote of the movie.
Oof.
There's one quote that movie is really recognized for. You talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking to me? You talking to me?
Are you talking to him?
I think it has to feel like we are the ones.
Well, we don't have to pay you for those buttons.
Yeah, so
That's funny.
how about we don't pay for the buttons?
That was one of the funnier lines.
That's a great line.
Yeah.
I honestly liked again, the interview. I'll work anytime, anywhere.
That's like a quote that's in like probably so many movies.
Sam loves that.
I love that one, bro.
Sam is just like, yeah, he's a good working man. He's a good working man.
There aren't that many like funny funny quotes like on
Besides
its
like the
own.
mirror scene and like stuff.
Oh, because you're thinking of it of like Talladega Nights.
Yeah, totally nice. But also the scene where where he's like where they ask him about the policies and he's like, I don't know that one. Has like another one. He's like, I don't know that one either. I think that's pretty
I
funny.
like how when he's flirting with Sybil Shepherd's character and he's just like, I'm sure he has a good one. I'm sure he has a good one. It's like,
Yeah.
he's just
I'm
has
sure
no
it's
idea.
great.
Yeah.
I know Seth's favorite.
I like his bit of like I need to get organized.
Yeah, that is
It's
funny.
just like what?
That is funny.
Like organized or whatever.
It's a joke.
I don't know what he says.
It was dumb. IMO.
Organized.
Oh, it's like them the think coast or what?
Oh yeah.
Think posters. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're
I just a little bit more. I did find it funny when it was in his like own little workspace where there was a poster that says "I'm gonna get organized."
yeah.
I think at the beginning that joke wasn't funny to me. Like, okay, he's just weird. But like when it was in his room, just organized as he's like plotting to kill the senator.
Organized.
Yeah, I like how he's literally like, I need to lock in, and then you would see like his little like lock in montage. It's like, ooh.
I remember the joke. I was trying to remember when we saw the fire scene on the stove, what joke I made, and I remember now it was when AJ's girlfriend breaks up with him. She was named too.
For our viewers,
For all our viewers.
I got dumped and lost 100 pounds in 2 or 3 months.
Simp.
We just have a section of the pod where we're just talking about AJ's breakup every episode.
He got broken up, moved to Pittsburgh, lost like 100 pounds, and yeah. All right, Seth, your favorite quote?
Very cool. Oh man, I mean, it just feels wrong not to say the "you talking to me" quote, because that's just like not even in just this movie, but like in all of film culture. It's
That's
just known.
surprising.
But it is funny to just be like, yeah, quote of the movie is "we are the people."
Yeah, that's funny.
Like walk away with that.
Are
Wait, when did they say that? Not
It's like
the
early in the
button thing.
movie.
It's
You talking to me?
Yeah.
That's the mirror scene.
okay.
Or not? There was
Oh
no mirror,
yeah.
though.
Okay.
But yeah.
Gotcha.
We keep saying mirror scene. It like cuts out to the light and he's just like alone,
Yeah.
like staring into the abyss.
Gotcha.
I'm surprised. I would have bet my life savings on your favorite quote, but I guess I was wrong.
Oh, are you talking about the 44 Magnum?
Yeah, because like
That's right.
Yeah.
following that, like you kept saying that, you're like, man, the way he delivered that line, you know. So.
Yeah. But it's just like I can barely even say the line.
Yeah, you can't say the line.
Like 44 Magnum to a woman's face or pussy or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what you should see.
That's what you
She's
should-
like, ooh. What are you saying?
I think there is an underrated quote from Sport when he first meets Travis, where he's like, "You got me, officer."
Yeah, you're right.
That's pretty good.
That's funny.
The quote of the movie is like no words. It's just the.
Yeah.
That's funny. That was good. What was yours again, Elijah?
What's up?
What was yours?
Mine. The button.
Oh,
yeah.
What is it? We are the people.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think what makes a good quote is like in context, because like
I see.
I guess like the way I'm thinking of quotes, like Talladega Nights quotes,
Yeah.
they're all funny because of the context.
Yeah.
If we're talking about like what's the quote from the Godfather, the laughing one, where it's like, oh, you think I'm funny? That
Oh,
one.
for Goodfellas.
From Goodfellas.
Sorry.
Funny how?
Funny.
Yeah,
Funny
like
how.
that.
Yeah.
Like
Am I like a joke?
Okay, that's fair. What do y'all think aged the best with this movie? Like, given its age. Earlier you asked, like, would it be made today? Like, what do y'all think aged the best?
I would say the score, but I don't see that being like made anytime.
What I was thinking is like just the discourse and the loneliness epidemic being so like prominent till this day,
okay.
and like that movie is still like relevant to this. But other than that,
That's
I don't know what else.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You know, now that I think about it, the whole ending scene might not even happen. He tried to kill himself, right?
And it's just like a stretch, but it reminded me of the whole like with school shooters and stuff like that, and the whole like men's health topic
Yeah.
with people in America.
Like toxic masculinity stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be woke or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there also is something to the effect of how he was always like, well, I don't know much about politics, but he was just like he was so vocal about like, we need to get the scum off the, like, he was like, he's like very clear, like, I don't know anything, but he was still willing to like insert his opinion whenever he could. And like, he was so strong about his convictions that he made like a choice that most people would agree is like horrible. But he was just like, like so deemed to be in the right, even though he like knew nothing about like context, like historical significance of like anything he was doing. He just knew like he was mad.
Yeah, it was
so he just acted impulsively.
It was
like
purely an internal battle that he was like putting into the public.
And I think that's like pretty common today, where people will like have a very strong opinion about something, but they don't know much about politics.
That's a good point.
Like they'll take a lot of action while fully knowing that they don't know enough. They think that they have what they need to battle like a random issue.
Yeah. We're all Travis Bickle.
You're gonna get all the people on Twitter riled up, Andrew.
I was along the lines of like what age well. I was trying to think of like looking at this movie from like a faith perspective or like a biblical perspective.
Yeah.
I think like a principle that is in like our faith that goes along with it is like hypocrisy with the whole like scum thing, like thinking that we're not the scum, like not seeing the log in our own eye. I think that's like a principle that's like pretty easily.
You think Paul Schrader read Matthew and was like, he wrote Taxi Driver?
He was cranking it, bro.
Yeah, he wrote Take the Plank.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I don't think this movie
He
had like
knew the God of the Old Testament. He was like,
things.
this is what Travis Bickle will be like.
I think it's all up to interpretation.
It really is, yeah. But I just didn't take that away from it.
Definitely.
All right, and then and what age is the worst? The main thing that I had is like just the whole incel film reputation of the movie and like the film bro-ness of it is like when someone says their favorite movie is Taxi Driver. It's like
Oh, this guy.
And why is that?
well, given the subject matter, and especially with like films that are in the lineage of Taxi Driver, like take Wolf of Wall Street, a lot of like the bros will watch this film and will take the completely opposite meaning of it.
Okay,
And
I
it's
see.
like
Fight Club stuff.
exactly
Yeah.
like tarnishes the reputation of the film in that it's become misread in the culture.
Yeah, a lot of people want like it's very, Travis Bickle is the protagonist of the film, but he's not a good person. Like he's used expressly as like a representation of what you shouldn't do. Like what happens if you go too far down that like negative line of thinking like there is scum that I have to take care of. Like, and it's the same with like Fight Club. Like people think that you want to be, I forget the name of the main character, but
Tyler Durden.
they want to be Tyler Durden. And it's like, you should not want to be like a horrible person like that. But I think that's also like a product of how like most movies have that like hero dynamic of like, you want to be Harry Potter. They want you to insert yourself into like Harry Potter, or like you want to be, I don't know, Superman, like that sort of thing of like, it's very common for young men who have prior to that experienced film of like Superman, like superhero, like they want to be that, they want to grow into that. So they see a movie that portrays a negative protagonist and they think, oh, that's also something I should aspire to be. And it's just like a horrible portrayal of what they should go for.
Yeah, Travis Bickle was kind of the same. Like he wanted to be Superman. You know, he wanted to save the girl, be the knight in shining armor. You know, he's like, why are you doing this? I could take you away from all this. You know, it was just him being, what's the word for it, AJ?
Hypocritical.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting because I didn't even think about that being like, I didn't even think about people like taking away that from the movie.
Right, because you're like, it's so crazy that someone would do that.
Out there that watches and they're like, they see them, they want to become Travis Bickle.
Yeah, and that's like, I guess I didn't even think of that as a possibility, so that's why I didn't think of like this being a negative or being a negative connotation that like, oh, you like Taxi Driver, that sort of thing.
Plus, I think it's also very easy. Even like without the context that I think I just ascribed to like the superhero movie, like influencing people, but also there's something that it speaks to people who are like adolescent boys. Like once you're reaching that age and your like hormones are raging, you just think like you're alone and like there's a big like loneliness aspect to that. And rather than giving them like a positive influence and sort of thinking like you're not really alone, like you could give them like church Bible stuff, or you could like try and make new friends in like clubs and stuff. They're more so like they lean into that loneliness aspect and think it's a good thing to go insane by having that. I think it's like maybe cool, maybe like a way to cope. I don't know.
Do y'all think that the production of this sort of media is negative because of the possibility of encouragement to do that sort of thing?
I don't think so, because people could take this very differently. Like, I don't think any of us took it in the way like that's how we want to be.
Speak for yourself.
Okay. I already know you're getting that haircut.
Yeah, it's coming. I can cut.
But like, I feel like yes, for impressionable young kids, like AJ was saying, people growing, those hormones, it would probably like affect them.
Hormone corner in the Goldfish Boys.
But like for adults and all that, like I feel like it's just a really enjoyable film that doesn't change their view on the world. It just like shows them a different perspective.
I mean, even if it was like something where you could attribute it to being like trying to impression certain people. I think you should let art have the space to like say what it wants, let people interpret it how it is. Like, yeah, like no matter what you have, there's going to be the like possibility that someone's going to interpret it negatively or interpret it wrongly, and it's going to have like dire consequences. But I think you should let like art is art. It's up to the interpreter whether or not it's even good or bad. But I don't think you should like limit it as like, oh, this is bad, we should stop this production of this film for that reason.
Yeah, like the reaction that you're thinking of is like not limited to Taxi Driver. It's like just any piece of art. It's just the thing is that the subject matter in Taxi Driver happens to be that sensitive, so it's easy to like pinpoint that and isolate that as an example. But like ultimately it's a two-way relationship, and it's like any viewer can say anything about any movie being whatever message, right?
I could say I watched Willy Wonka and now I want to like blow up. You know, I want to put a bomb.
We got a bomb mention, yeah.
We're not giving the bombs. Not on this podcast.
But like in the same way that like there will be like Wall Street bros watching like Wall Street and be like, yeah, like capitalism, like yeah, like hot women, yeah, like like yeah, like that maximalist lifestyle, and that's why a lot of people are watching.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he was just a calm man. Yeah.
Sleeves. Yeah, but that's why like a lot of people hated Wall Street, because it's like, why are you glorifying this lifestyle? And that could be the same way here with Taxi Driver, is like confusing depiction with glorification, and like because that it's what we're following, the audience like. There's a risk of it being taken away.
Is it glorification? Because at the end of Wall Street, like I didn't see him glorified.
Oh, you're talking about Wall Street?
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean it's a common structure in like Scorsese's films where he gets you high on the villains. Like,
yeah, but at the end he breaks you down.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
If anything, I think it could like encourage a new wave of like young adolescent boys to drive taxis. Like, that industry won't like
moral of
drive
Taxi Driver.
itself.
It's a dying industry.
We need Uber, we need Lyft, we need taxi, and Scorsese's just saying consider it.
We need a sequel where it's like Taxi Driver and the next is like Uber Driver.
I really don't see the issue.
I've never been to Uber driver.
That would be funny, like to take the simpleton route of being like, we're talking about like the politics and the storytelling. We're
It's like we need more taxi drivers.
like guys, watch Taxi Driver. We need more.
So I can't remember if we're still on this question, but one thing that aged poorly.
Yeah.
This is like thinking like, okay, think about your kids and then think about like, for example, their kids. Right? They won't know what a taxi is. Like for real.
Yeah.
Like eventually.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean that really doesn't like impact.
When was the last time you saw a taxi?
I see. I mean, I see him, but like
You see him here?
they will eventually not exist
You see him here?
in San Antonio. Yeah,
They're a dying breed
like
for
downtown.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for
fair
sure.
enough, yeah.
But I think we could pin that as like, since Taxi Driver dropped, like the amount of taxi cabs just started dwindling because of
Yeah.
the movie. They were like,
Because of it.
it's not safe.
Did that actually happen?
No.
Steph, he said that so serious. I was like, what? Is that a stat?
I mean, like you can also take it down the route of like just with technological advancements that a lot of stuff is going to be out of date. Like
But specifically, what I'm saying
like
is
the
that
theater, like the porn theater,
Sure.
like that's going out because it's
what I'm
streaming.
saying is
That's crazy. We haven't even mentioned that. What's aged the worst is like just porn theaters in general.
Oh yeah, porn theaters,
taking the
porn
theater
theaters went down after this movie.
But the porn theater being out of style is different than the whole consensus of the movie.
Speak for yourself.
The whole like without the taxi, the movie doesn't work.
Well, that's why I'm proposing Uber Driver.
Yeah. In like 2020, in 2050, it's gonna be the Uber driver movie. Like because the taxi has a cultural spot, like specifically in New York, that you need to make the movie work.
Where did this movie take place?
New York.
New York, right? Okay.
I think also just the concept of a good politician is kind of like that age.
that's a great point.
I don't.
That's a great
I
pull.
can't think of a single person who trusts any politician right now, and that like
Trust them all.
like back in the 70s, it's like a
Politician you could trust.
like he's like I trust that man. Like I put
Yeah.
my life down for that
point.
man. He's gonna make this country amazing. Like that's not a thing. today.
Nowadays, it's like I guess I'll vote for.
Like that whole store with the buttons, like now it's just like a bunch of people like on their laptops, like on
Yeah.
Twitter, like running the memes.
Almost also like the pureness of that politician.
Yeah.
Like you just don't see that.
I did not think about that. That's great. That reminds me. So we have the inside scoop brought to you by IMDb, some half-ass internet research. Right?
Okay.
All right. So this one I was telling Sam about. I thought it was really cool. So I was telling him that it's partially autobiographical for Paul Schrader. Because remember we watched the movie and we were like, there's no way you could be like in a good headspace and write Taxi Driver. Like, do you think like he was writing this and like woke up the next day to go to church and like grab some Bill Miller?
Yeah.
So it says here so he was fired from the AFI, friendless, in the midst of a divorce, and was rejected by a girlfriend. So this man is like, just
like down.
yeah, he's losing it. He's hit rock bottom.
Sounds like somebody I know.
This is AJ. AJ's gonna write Uber driver for us. I think this is funny. It says here that he went to porno theaters and developed an obsession with guns, according to IMDb.
So this is just a Scorsese self-insert.
Oh no, Schrader. Paul Schrader was the one who wrote it.
That's why Seth said it's like slight autobiography, you know.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I looked this up because I was debating whether not to add it to my docudrama list or my like drama list.
Oh no, it goes.
It's definitely in drama. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and then it says like he was working at the time as a delivery man for chicken restaurants and spent long days alone in his car. So like this is like he literally goes to a porn theater, Travis Bickle does, and like with the guns and it's just
That's crazy.
I bet you he got rejected because he brought that girl to
exactly
the porn
like
theaters.
he's like internal like or he's working through his stuff.
That's why it's depicted so negatively in the movie. Paul Schrader's still mad about that.
Hey,
That's funny.
Paul Schrader said, "I don't know much about movies."
That's why you're gonna write this movie, AJ.
It's like in How I Met Your Mother. You got Schmed Schmosby or something like that.
Oh my god.
I think it's like what if this is like more common than we think.
What?
Or like one to admit, like
What?
people having
That
this
archetype?
sort of mindset.
Oh, it's very common.
I think it's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like even the extent to what he did.
Oh, are you talking? Go ahead.
I think a lot of it is more like this film. I'm sorry, Seth. This film definitely is more Nietzschean, in my opinion. Like because Nietzsche had this idea of morality as something that's not like and granted, I can't claim if there's a philosopher that is like you're wrong about everything. Like okay, in my interpretation of Nietzsche, he doesn't have an idea of like there is an objective good and objective bad. He views it as good and bad is determined by who is more powerful.
Oh my god!
He calls it like the will to power, and I think this movie definitely has like that idea of like the good and bad is determined by who has more power. So like you see. Travis Bickle be like have that sense of like I'm more in the right of like killing all these people because he has guns. He has the power to like eliminate all these people. He thinks that because he has that, he can determine like who lives, who dies. Like he has that sort of God complex that he brings to
that
it.
savior complex is just huge there.
And I think there is a lot of Nietzscheans in this world who are just like doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Like I'm more powerful. Like I need to
Duel must be done type.
Yeah, have this mastery over another person or over
Morally
nature.
right.
Like I'm in the morally right because I'm domineering over this person.
Interesting.
So I'd say it's more common than you may think.
Yeah, and then it's interesting that you say that, and obviously you're talking from the perspective of Bickle, the character. But since, like, obviously our takeaway is like Bickle is wrong, would you then agree that it's like anti-Nietzsche or not, or in that context, in those terms? Because it's speaking against like this whole depiction is like it's not supporting it, right? So what would you say to that?
Does it not support it?
Like what Bickle?
Or is there just more of a sentiment of this was negative in like the people who watched it, and that's why it's interpreted that way? I don't think the movie goes out of its way to say like this is negative. It details the like extremity to which Travis Bickle's character is willing to go, but it doesn't say if it's good or bad. I mean, we're Christians, so we like think there is an objective good and objective bad, and we view that from like a biblical standpoint, and that's like what a lot of the people in America who watch this might be like. But I think that's just a result of the majority of people watching this thinking he's in the wrong for killing people, like regardless. And there is like going to be that minority of people who do view him as like in the positive light just because of that Nietzschean like will to power idea.
No, that's fair. It would be really funny if we all just like sat here in silence after it did like the Nietzsche monologue.
What is Nietzsche? No, I don't know who that is.
Friedrich Nietzsche, he's a German philosopher. Yeah.
The who is
And what
Philosophy
is
corner.
what is the concept that you guys are talking about?
Uh,
Like, sorry. Like, This whole time I was thinking about what Nietzsche meant.
He's like, is this a person, place, or thing?
Just that like there is no good or evil. It's about who is more powerful over the other that determines what's good or evil.
Interesting.
That'd be funny. And then you just come in with like a different philosopher.
Well, Ricky Bobby said. Ricky Bobby said. I go at you like a spider monkey.
All right, give us a little Ricky Bobby for us in the pod.
Yeah, well, I was actually gonna pick a quote. For the I know we have the Talladega Nights quote of the day from the movie. But I would also like to bring a Talladega Nights quote from Talladega Nights because it is the greatest movie ever made.
Yes.
And I'd like to start off with a legendary one.
Okay.
Picture the scene. You're at your family dinner, and your uncle's praying.
It's already going bad.
I like to picture Jesus in a tuxedo T-shirt because it says, "I want to be formal, but I'm here to party."
That's good. That's
Talladega Nights.
Well done.
Quote of the day. You're welcome.
I like
You're
it.
welcome.
And to segue from that, obviously I don't know about.
Goldfish boys.
Can we just take a minute to look at how much AJ ate?
Me and him have been.
Take a minute ago.
Bro, I need more, bro. I'm hounding this stuff. This stuff is so good.
That's so funny.
Also, at some point, do we have time to get into a hot topic?
Of course, we got to do a hot takes corner later.
Okay.
What's it called? So obviously, I wasn't there and can't read the minds of like the actors, right? So I don't know every single line that was scripted or ad libbed. But if y'all had to guess a scene that was ad libbed, what would y'all guess?
The you talking to me scene.
Okay.
Scorsese's.
Okay. Yeah.
Probably all of sports. I think everything you said, they were just like, just riff, man. Just go do it. Crank it.
So, okay.
Do you think that any of your taxi drivers guys was a lot of that was ad libbed?
I think that was real. I don't think a lot
Real
of
as in
that was
scripted?
maybe that one, the one-on-one conversation that Wizard had with De Niro might have been ad-libbed a little bit because it seemed like a lot of ranting and rambling. But I think primarily that was scripted.
So I don't know about the Scorsese scene, which it does feel kind of ad-lib, but he also does have to say specific stuff by the end of the scene.
Sure.
There are two scenes that, according to IMDb, were ad-libbed. First, Sam was completely right. The whole Travis Bickle talking to himself thing is like completely
Really?
ad-libbed. Yeah.
Good call, Sam.
Sheesh. Gold star for Sam.
Yeah.
Put it on the board.
What's it called? And then apparently, like,
Got him.
apparently, like the creepy dance scene with Sport and Iris, like all their dialogue was
That was ad-lib?
was improvised as well.
Really?
Okay.
What was that?
That was like all improv.
Yeah.
Were they just like be as creepy as he can, man? Or like, how did that
How do you
work?
direct that?
How do you, that's like, that was as uncomfortable to watch as that Community Christmas, the Glee episode.
Yeah. With Annie.
Yeah.
It was probably somewhat similar to me and Ivana's dance last night.
Yeah, yesterday we were working on Eve's short film, and you and Ivana had to do like a bunch of dancing scenes together.
Eve directed it.
Yeah, Eve
Your
liked
girlfriend pimped you out.
Yeah, she did. Call our sport next time.
Call her Sport. Yeah, I feel like that Jodie Foster scene is just so uncomfortable. Apparently, like they had to have her older sister play a body double for the like, erotic scenes.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that uncomfortable?
Underage. Yeah.
How old was she actually in the movie?
I don't know.
She did seem young, like definitely like under 18, but she didn't seem like 11 or 12.
I bet she's like 16.
Yeah, 16. I think is exactly
Like perfect.
what she would.
No, perfect for the character. Perfect for the character.
Let's just linger on that for a second.
Yeah, let's just. All right. Enough.
You know, maybe 15.
Yeah, speaking of that, I like this idea, the Saltburn Award for most uncomfortable scene.
Oh,
That's gas.
Oh, gee, I wonder.
For real, which one, AJ?
Yeah,
The dance scene with Iris and Sport.
I'd actually disagree with you. There's one.
It wasn't Sport. What was that guy?
It was Sport.
Sport was different.
No, it
the one that she was dancing with?
I don't think that was Sport.
That was Sport.
Are you sure that was
Yes.
Sport?
was 100% Sport.
It seemed like a completely different guy.
We'll bring it to the Goldfish Boys Rewind.
No, because
Trying to talk.
sorry, let me wait for the clip to end.
It's that Family Guy skit where they're just.
So didn't he shoot Sport? Then he went upstairs and shot that dude.
But this is after the dance scene, the shootout. That's the second to last scene in the movie.
I thought, are you sure?
You think they had the shootout and then he dances with her? We're stepping on how would you edit the movie? But
I don't know.
that would be funny.
They just look different.
Also, sports a fucking creep, but hey, his taste in music. Yeah.
Pretty banger.
I like how Sam's bit in the pod part, just like defending the characters. Like
Is-
sort of like. Go ahead.
Where do you two uncomfortable scenes that I can think of is the porno
The porn theater
movie.
Yeah,
but
AJ's favorite scene in the movie.
also whenever the dude is in the when De Niro's the driver. And there's the dude with the young girl in the back of the cab, and he's like,
Wait, are you talking about
grabbing
Jodie
her and
Foster?
stuff. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, like, yeah.
That's Iris.
Yes. Yeah. I think
that
that's
is-
$20.
a little bit. It's not like
Yeah,
It's
so
uncomfortable.
Sam with the porn theater scene, pull, and then that scene. I think the most uncomfortable scene is when De Niro tries to save her and she keeps on trying to like blow him. Like that.
Oh, that
That's
was
an uncomfortable
really.
scene.
I forgot about
Like,
that.
ugh.
I was gonna say the same thing. I didn't say porn theater. That was a legend.
Oh, is that what you're going for? I thought he.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought he was saying the scene where.
I said both.
Oh, both of them. Yeah, but I think definitely like the fact
Interesting.
that she's
That
trying
was-
to.
Yeah.
That was like not even so disturbing as into like the what she was doing. It was
Yeah.
more so disturbing of like this is her mindset of like
That's
let's
true.
say, like
This is all they
I don't
want.
know, like
sad.
she was like so that was
So uncomfortable. Like she was legitimately like don't you want to get there? And I'm just like, oh my god, this is so
Yeah.
sad.
Like it was depressing. Like I was watching that. I was like,
Yeah. And you could feel like since we're so isolated with Travis, like that's the sort of capsule loneliness that we're following. But there's like a version of that with Iris where she's like following this road, and that's her like delusion or her insanity in a way.
It's interesting.
That scene was that's Saltburn Award right there.
well, also taking some like psychology into it. People will tend to young adults will tend to hypersexualize themselves in like the face of trauma, like when they've had a traumatic past.
Yeah. So I think that's surely. I think that's the first category that we've like all agreed on, right?
Yeah, that was good. I like this award too. This is a good
Saltburn was uncomfortable.
I think one like this is not uncomfortable on the same level, but
Yeah.
when he goes in the election office and is like berating her.
that is
like-
the breakup, their
Yeah.
quote unquote breakup scene. Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's a different type of uncomfortable, but it's still uncomfortable.
And then also, just since we're on that topic, one of the most memorable shots in the scene in the movie is where he's on the phone call trying to call Betsy, and it's so cringe that the camera like just pans away into the hallway, and you still hear his voice, but he's
Great.
just locked in.
Love that.
emphasizing just the loneliness of that scene.
Okay, that might be like my favorite shot of the movie, single shot.
Let's get into that.
Great.
Since we landed on most uncomfortable, what's the shot of the movie?
I think that, and then like it has so much power. Like the last shot at the end, like that's the most powerful shot of
Which shot?
the movie when it shows him in the back.
Shows him
The very last shot of the movie.
Do you? Oh, like where it's like his reflection.
Yeah.
Okay. Sam, what about you?
Shot of the movie.
Yeah. We need to come up with a name for this eventually.
Yeah. Honestly, Steffi pointed out a really good one. It's literally when the camera just points at him and it's the reveal of his haircut, him in the jacket, sunglasses.
Oh, that pop up.
Yeah, that
right?
pop up.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's great. What about you, AJ? It just like the shot of like him in the porno theater.
Y'all think I'm way more about that porno theater.
I know. It seems like you're pretty about it.
That was like a good like 20-minute segment of the plot. It's like he went to Nam, okay? He went to Nam. He can do what he wants. He gets a pass.
Think about it. You know what's another uncomfortable scene?
So we can do it, but I can't.
Morgan's gonna hop on the phone like AJ did this weird thing that I thought was odd. We went to this weird theater.
He started saying he didn't know too much about it.
I don't know too much about movies, okay? I didn't know you felt that way. Go ahead, AJ.
I don't even have one. I don't know. I don't pay a shot of the movie. You think I pay attention to that?
I think we all forgot about something.
Go ahead.
A really uncomfortable scene that we all forgot about is his first time in the porno and he's buying candy and like talking.
Yeah. You're right.
AJ's
She's
like, I did that
she's
this morning.
she's like, I'll call the cops.
She's like really dismissive, and she's like, yeah,
Yeah, because you're not trying to date someone who goes to porno theaters.
I'm not even sure if he was trying to
Really,
date her. He
AJ?
was
Let's,
trying to-
let's get into that. Let's get into
but
that.
AJ, he went to Nom. It's
Let's
fine,
open that,
right?
let's
It's
open
fine,
that
right?
back up. Well, what if he comes out? Okay, wait. Let's rewrite the scene.
All right,
okay?
AJ, he made
what if,
one
what if,
oopsie.
what if he walks up, okay, and he's like, "Hi, I served the nom. Can I have some candy?" Like, do you think she's like flirting there? Is he?
I think there's still some like weirdness there of like the type of people that are going to porn theaters or watching porn in general
whoa,
are
whoa,
not the people you want to be going on dates with.
Now speak for yourself.
So no problem. First date for a guy that just came back from nom to take
I
a
am
girl.
not saying it
But
was
He
good.
buys some candy and all of a sudden.
I am not saying that what he did was good.
I
I'm
asked for a Coke
saying
and all you got is
he
Royal
made a
Cola.
mistake
It's
and
just a dirty dog.
apologized, and she immediately was
dog.
off it. She talked about how much she liked him, how he's different, and she's like willing to go on a date with him. She's
he's
very
different,
excited. But then he makes one slip up.
That's a big slip up. What do you think?
That is a pretty big slip up. AJ.
If you take Morgan to a porn theater, you're gonna
Okay,
look
but
at her,
I don't have-
I slipped up.
I don't have
Okay, but Morgan would like
PTSD.
it. That's a difference.
If I had PTSD, she owes me a forgiveness. Like, oops, you know.
How many oopsies before like?
He would have made changes. If he tried to bring her back, then yeah, like dump the guy. But if he would have been like, oh, and then saw the error of his ways and then never went again, you know, that's kind of wholesome in a way, you know. She could have changed him. I'm not saying
could
it's
fix
good.
him.
I'm just saying she should have given him another chance.
There's so many moments in this pod where I just want to like after AJ goes on a big rant, just like go dead silent. Like it was okay and it's kind of wholesome in a way.
He's gonna do what they did in 12 Angry Men. The racist guy.
Like we're all walking away.
You're about to have 3 angry men if you say that.
That's so funny. Sam, were you trying to say something? No. Oh man, but that's so funny. Oh my god, bro, I have completely forgotten where we are now. Oh yeah, shot of the movie. Man, I really like that pop up thing. Yeah, man. What did you say again, Elijah?
The hallway shot. Him on the phone, penned to the. I remember like when we were watching, I was like, "Well, that's a cool shot," because it feels different than the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Like you don't. I can't say the rest of it
Because
is
it
like
takes yourself
shot in that way.
out of his perspective.
Exactly.
Right?
The other one that you already mentioned, we talked about like twice now, is the assassination attempt shot, where it shows like him in his.
It pops up. Yeah, that's iconic.
It's good stuff.
I would have to say, like, I think the most memorable shot for me is, like, it's kind of two. First, when he's sitting down on the couch next to Iris, and then he's doing the, and the movie's just like it's completely slowed down, and he's doing the suicide thing, and then also when the camera like lifts up and ascends into the sky as he's dying, in my interpretation of it, which is like such a great shot.
That scene is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like if I had to get like one frame, that's probably my favorite one.
Good.
Yeah.
As he's bleeding out, just
Yeah.
that's a great one. Also, one thing I really like about Elijah's scene is how is how they decide to like leave out the audio of Betsy. They only have his audio. Like he's like, oh yeah, I was just calling to like, okay, yeah. So
Totally.
yeah, I love how they left out her audio.
That's good.
If y'all had to cut out one scene, like if you had to cut out one thing,
Definitely say the porno scene, but AJ wouldn't want to watch it.
it's just done.
Mine would just be the dancing scene. The dancing scene. That I'd cut that out, and I don't think it would affect the movie.
The dancing scene.
Yeah.
It does. I like that scene though, not in like liking it, but in the context of like it happens right before the shootout, and it's like one last like you're in finally Iris's perspective fully for one moment in the movie before he goes and does that.
I don't know if I would cut a full scene, but like I could probably have used like less of the buying the guns. I don't know. Like
Really?
I didn't feel like that was like.
I was like, I related to that part.
Yeah. I bought it from a lot of. No, I'm kidding.
For me, the entirety of after that shootout, I think when it like floats above and fades out, done, end movie. I think that would have been a perfect
no
ending.
epilogue. Essentially.
I would have liked that ambiguity of like, did he make it? Didn't he make it?
Yeah.
I think what I like about the end tag though is it like ties the whole movie together where because he starts off with the Betsy plotline and then you kind of like midway through the movie just leave that altogether, and I like how it kind of brings it all the way back because that's when his descent begins, is after the whole Betsy thing happens. But I don't know. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, honestly, I like AJ's. That would have been interesting, but I personally like the epilogue, right? Then for Elijah's, I completely disagree. No, the only reason I don't agree with your point is because the salesman, like after he's like, all right, I'll take all 3 of these guns, right? He's like, oh, perfect. Here's a holster. Also, if I can sell you any like dope uppers, downers, I got flour.
that was funny. Yeah,
I like that. And then he's like, no, I don't do any of that. It just shows like how he's sees himself as pure, more, like higher up than all the scum. Yeah. So that's why I want to leave that out.
So capping that category, we're going to go ahead and switch to our sponsors. We're going to thank JPR Sim Stuff for this while I switch out the SD card.
JPR John.
Can we have another Dr. Pepper Gamer sponsor?
Okay, yeah, you could, you can say that to the camera, like to include that sponsor.
Well, I actually don't know the official name.
Can you pull that up?
His real one, I believe, is Live Warrior Gaming. But
let's plug that. Thank you for thinking of that, AJ. Okay, can you do that one? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think there's a number of ones like Live Warrior Gaming 3.
Oh, you want like the exact at?
I want
AJ wants the red stuff.
This is so funny. But I mean, how do y'all feel about like that structure of the
It's the Live Warrior Gaming.
The Live Warrior Gaming. Okay.
What is it on YouTube or Twitch?
Oh, YouTube. Let's go YouTube first.
JPR Sim Stuff. And then I'll
The Live Warrior Gaming.
All right. Go ahead and say that to the camera, AJ.
Is it a sponsor?
Yeah. Literally do whatever you want.
We would like to dedicate this episode to our sponsor, the Live Warrior Gaming. For all your gaming needs, please go to the Live Gaming. Wait. Please go to the Live Warrior Gaming on YouTube. He streams. And he's wonderful.
Okay.
Can we do like a funny sponsor?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, it's like, can we we could literally do whatever we want. It's very possible we'll do 100 of these and nothing happens. This is the most fun part of it, actually. If we had 1 million listeners, that'd be the time where we literally can do things. Yeah.
I like to thank this segment of the podcast to adamandeve.com. Go on adamandeve.com to get 30% off your next alien egg product. Thank you.
I'd like to dedicate this next portion to the Local 142 Plumbers Union of San Antonio, Texas, for all your plumbing, pipe fitting, irrigation
needs.
I think that's it. 142. I am part of our proud local union. Go Union! Thank you.
I would like to dedicate this next segment to Honor Farmstead, where you can buy food and yeah.
I think it's funny, when this episode goes out and everyone that we're mentioning just their stock plummets.
I'd like to take this next portion to acknowledge Tesla.
It's a Tesla mention. We gotta help.
Thank you, Elon, for funding this.
How about Elon?
Bro, okay, hot take: animal crackers are way better than Goldfish.
We're gonna call animal
cracker.
Cracker.
We would like to dedicate this next portion to animal crackers.
Yeah. We can't take any other food sponsors, unfortunately.
We don't have any other foods. You would think it would be, something else, but no, animal crackers is the food of choice for our pod.
It's called Goldfish Boys, and the food is animal crackers.
I'd like to take this next minute to acknowledge Chachos. You will not be disappointed by the amount of grease that you receive. A fun story. I took my lovely girlfriend out to eat, and the nachos, there was 2 bowls to stop the grease from leaking. After done eating the nachos, she lifted up the bowls. There was still grease on the table. All your greasy knees, Chachos.
All right. Any other ads?
I would like to take this moment to plug my hot girlfriend, Morgan. Love you, honey.
Big beady eyes.
It's like something that's not even like a brand. It's just a person.
I love you, Mom.
That'd be funny if the episode itself is 30 minutes long, but the ads are 45 minutes long.
I like to say, you know who else is bad?
Wait, what?
Say it. Say it with your chest.
So he's saying,
say it with your chest.
Here it is. What did you say? Taxi Driver is a bad movie?
You know what else is bad?
We had to really Play it out.
Cut it
You
right
get
there.
your own joke.
Isn't the quote like, you know who else? is
No,
There you go. Yeah.
it's like, this is a bad. It's like blank is considered bad by me.
yeah. And then you come in. Don't piss on my back and come, Andrea. Andrea corner on the Goldfish Boys.
Considered bad.
That's funny.
Andre, I do not like you.
We should like on the TikTok.
Even be famous.
It's like the genuine clips, and then we'll also cut out like it's a 5-second video of you just saying that to the camera.
All right, should we do like a closing?
Yeah, and we definitely want
Check.
AJ doing our Goldfish Boys into the mic for sure.
Oh yeah. So you do the like AJ do the jingle, and then it's like, all right, AJ has to go. Say bye, AJ. Like to the audience, like it's Dora.
Do you want that like after the jingle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be like before he goes, let's have AJ. Like that should be your like tradition for guests, I think.
And then like goodbye, like a kids
Yeah.
show, because we're literally like in a kids place. All right, guys. So unfortunately, AJ has to go back and work the trades. So, oh wait, that's
he
Elijah over
doesn't.
there. He doesn't.
You gotta go back to the bird.
No, my
Union
cat's
strong.
just got neutered.
Union
So
strong.
I gotta help.
Yeah, you want to get into that?
Yeah, so I woke up at 8 o'clock this morning, and I have 3 male cats, and so we had to take them to get neutered, and before you
You're
actually
gonna
like,
get neutered.
yeah. So before you take them into the clinic, they ask you a bunch of questions, like like have they had rabies before? Have they like ever had like?
They didn't ask me.
and another part is not a question they ask, but they have to check to make sure the cats have both testicles. Like legitimately, for all 3 of my cats, the vet checked to make sure that they had 3 testicles. And so for the first cat, he like growled a little bit, and he was like he clearly didn't like his balls being touched. Then the second cat, he was much more like confused a little bit, like his ears kind of perked up. He's like, "What?" Now for the third cat, it's absolute horn dog. This cat gets like front, like he lifts his butt up.
Oh, my.
And you just see like the vet like kind of like towards the like double checking. He's like, I'm not sure he has 2, and we had to watch this vet like fling around this cat's balls for like a couple. But
This should be the opening of the podcast.
the thing is, like, the cat didn't like think it was like the cat liked it. Like he put his butt up and his like torso down because he was like just very excited about it. And we're very glad that thing is getting neutered because that thing is horny.
I think this is clever. Is that like this whole story is actually just talking about you and your doctor's appointment?
They checked me 3 times.
No invite?
no invite to the cat.
No invite?
What do you do
That's
with
crazy.
the remaining balls after they, chop them off?
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know.
They
if
fry
do.
him up.
I know it's like minimally invasive because the cats like they go in
when I
really
do it.
easy to like snip it.
No, when I do
for girls they have to actually like incise into them and like shave a part of their belly.
Not trying to hear all that, age.
My bad.
So-
I'm a little passionate about this topic.
So after that story with the cats, can you give us our Goldfish Boys little sing along here?
Goldfish boys.
That's good.
Very nice.
I like it.
Thank you, AJ Otto.
Thank you, AJ, for being our first guest on the first ever episode.
Albert James.
All right, guys, kids at home watching, go and say bye, AJ. Woo.
Goldfish
Oh,
boys. That's a wrap.
yeah.
Thanks, AJ.
Nice, guys. That's good. Oh, my mic, it wasn't on. That's fine.